Do you need a joint sponsor for affidavit of support? Navigating the immigration process can feel overwhelming, especially when it comes to financial requirements. One key aspect is the affidavit of support. This legal document ensures that immigrants will not relying on government assistance. But what happens if the primary sponsor does not meet the income requirements? This is where a joint sponsor comes into play. If the primary sponsor's income falls below the threshold set by U.S. immigration law, a joint sponsor is necessary. The joint sponsor is an individual who agrees to share the financial responsibility of supporting the immigrant. This person must be at least 18 years old, live in the United States, and be a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. Interestingly, the joint sponsor does not need to have any familial ties to the immigrant or the primary sponsor. To qualify as a joint sponsor, they must meet the income requirement independently. This requirement is generally set at 125% of the federal poverty guidelines, based on their household size, which includes the immigrant. The joint sponsor will need to submit their own affidavit of support, known as Form I-864, along with proof of income. This proof can include recent tax returns and employment verification. It is important to note that the primary sponsor cannot combine their income with the joint sponsor's income to meet the requirement. Each sponsor must qualify on their own. This means that if the primary sponsor's income is insufficient, the joint sponsor must independently demonstrate they can financially support the immigrant. Both the primary sponsor and the joint sponsor share equal legal responsibility for supporting the immigrant. This obligation lasts until the immigrant becomes a U.S. citizen, accrues 40 quarters of work, leaves the United States permanently, or passes away. This responsibility includes reimbursing the government if the immigrant receives certain public benefits. For many Middle Eastern families and communities, having a joint sponsor can be a game changer. It allows families to reunite and support each other during the immigration journey. Community members often step up to help loved ones, making the process smoother and more manageable. In summary, a joint sponsor is needed if the primary sponsor's income does not meet the required threshold. The joint sponsor must meet all requirements independently and shares full legal responsibility for the immigrant. This support can be essential for families and communities working together to navigate the immigration process.